All right, another win for the Padres. They are playing great baseball. 8 consecutive series wins, the first time, I believe, since 2007. That was said at the end of this Padres game by Don on the broadcast. So things are going great. 68 and 53. Yeah, you'd like to see the Padres not be third in the NL West when they're 68 and 53. But that just shows the talent in this division with the D-backs. They're red hot like the Padres are. We know the talent that the Dodgers have and the lead that they had early on in the season, which has helped when they've had injuries, when they haven't been as hot as teams like us and the Arizona Diamondbacks. But getting to the Padres, a 3-0 win here tonight. And just going through the plays here, bottom one, the scoring plays. Manny with the sac fly to center. Great catch, by the way, in center field. And Bay, he made an impact for this Pirates team, did all he could defensively in this game. But, Padres did great pitching wise and was able to shut down this Pirates offense. I'll get to that here in a second. David Peralta, what a sound that was off of his bat. Smacked that ball off of Ortiz. 2-0 lead for the Padres. And then in the bottom of the eighth, Mike Schilt, I don't know if this was Mike Schilt saying that he invented when he was talking to the media earlier this year, but he said it multiple times. Take everything and give them nothing, or give them nothing, take everything. One of those in one order. And that's what happened in the bottom of the eighth inning. There was the single by Arise. I think that was his third hit of the game. De La Cruz makes a mistake there, bobbles it in right field. Arise, as he's rounding, he'd already rounded first base, actually. And he's taking the aggressive, acting like maybe he'd go to second, not just standing at first base. And it ends up working out because he sees the bobble and sprints to second base, takes that extra base, and then Manny is able to get the single past O'Neill Cruz there, which maybe it's an error, maybe it's a single. They're at Petco. It's a single for Manny. And if Arise wasn't at second base, or he was, I think, at third base to start that play, but if he wasn't in that situation, he didn't take advantage, grab that extra bag there, maybe they don't score that third run. Now, the Padres, they get the shutout win, so it wasn't that big of a difference. But in the ninth inning, Suarez did give up that single, and a home run there would have tied the game if Manny, Arise didn't do their thing there in that eighth inning. So those things do add up. And again, this is what is separating this Padres team from other teams in baseball. They are taking almost everything. Sure, they're not going to come through every time with runners in scoring position. They're going to make some mistakes as well, as we've seen this year, but they're doing a better job of taking advantage of those mistakes. And so I'm loving that. And then pitching wise tonight, Michael King, great job out of him. 6 innings. Yeah, 7 hits, but I don't know about you guys watching this game. It didn't feel like to me that he gave up 7 hits. It felt like the Padres had control of this game. And that's welcoming, refreshing, because sure, I felt confident at times, even when the Padres have been down recently, because this is who they are. They continue to fight, and I know that they can come back. But you'd rather have the lead, keep the lead, and you have a dominant outing, 6 innings, no runs. The game, it was 2-0 before that eighth inning there. It didn't feel like it was that close. When you have Michael King strike out 10 and he walks nobody, he was having like all of his pitches working. He was throwing that changeup, getting whiffs on that, getting whiffs on his other pitches as well. So, props to Michael King. This is this year's Seth Lugo from last year. And Michael King has actually stayed healthier than Seth Lugo last year. So props to AJ, props to Ruben Niebla, props to Michael King himself for going from being a bullpen / starter. He started at the end of last year with the Yankees and being like, no, I'm a starter. I'm here to prove that I can be an impact starter, not just a starter, but an impact starter that the Padres can trust. And again, I've said this before this season. I don't want to hear about are they going to shut him down? Let's keep an eye on the innings. If he looks good and he feels good, which is what is happening right now, I don't want to hear that. This guy's going to be pitching in the postseason for the Padres. He's starting a postseason game the way that he's pitching right now. So great job out of him. Jason Adam, his 20th hold on the year, an inning out of him, no runs, struck out a couple. Watching him tonight reminded me, because Mud was talking about how he's hiding the ball, great at hiding the ball, and I agree. He reminds me of Clayton Richard, but from the right side and gas. I mean, Clayton Richard wasn't throwing 97, but just how he's able to, get that ball behind him and then boom, whips it out. Clayton Richard, it was a slower, definitely on that back end when he came back to the Padres in like 2018. It was definitely slower getting it out of his hand from when it was back here, but it just reminds me of that from the right side. I know one was a starter, Adam obviously a reliever, but that just came to my head during this game. Great job on him, and then Tanner Scott gets through that 8th inning there, an inning, gave up a hit, but got a couple of punch outs. And there were those hitters, they were behind on his pitches. And Robert Suarez got an inning. Again, the Padres, I mean, they should do that every time the rest of the year. I don't know if, I forget when they exactly started this on the Padres broadcast, but having Robert Suarez, especially night games are the best. Day games, it's still okay, but night games are the best where you can see like the fans with their flashlights on their phones and the music. That song's going to get stuck in my head, and that's great because that means Robert Suarez keeps getting in these games. I don't know if he's going to pitch tomorrow. I know there's a day off after that, but they probably don't want him going 3 days in a row. So hopefully the Padres can, get a nice blowout win over 3 runs, or Jeremiah Estrada can close it, or someone other than Robert Suarez can close that game tomorrow. Tanner Scott, by the way, he's pitched back-to-back days. He's pitched 4 of the last 5. Suarez has pitched 3 of the last 4. Jason Adam has pitched 3 of the last 5. So maybe look for Brian Hoeing. He's had a day off. Look for Matsui, Estrada, Reynolds tomorrow. And maybe the Padres can get a win without having to use those guys. Get a couple of days off before going into Colorado, because who knows what the heck's going to happen when the Padres get to Colorado. But yeah, just great environment. The song, everything. Great that the Padres broadcast has decided to do. Not going to commercial break, leaving it with Robert Suarez. It gets me pumped up seeing that every time out there. So yeah, Padres, they get the win. Not a ton of opportunities with runners in scoring position tonight, 1 for 5, but when you cash in on them, you get a big homer from David Peralta. You get the pitching performance that you get from Michael King, and then your 3 high leverage guys. Like, this is the ideal. I mean, the ideal win is to, blow out the team, but a Padres win where you get a homer, you get some production from big guys in the lineup, like Manny Machado, you get a great start, 10 punch outs, no walks, quality start for Michael King, and then you get to use your 3 high leverage relievers. You get Adams, Scott, and Suarez, and boom, you get the win. So we can't control what the Dodgers, the D-backs are doing, but the Padres, they keep getting wins against these bad teams, and at the end of this 15-game stretch, they're going to have a pretty darn good record, and that is great. That is refreshing, and that is great to look at. That will be great to look at come the end of, I think, this Rocky series. I think that's the end of the 15-game stretch before they're back home to face the Twins and the Mets. Because as we know, Padres fans, the Padres have not done a good enough job of taking advantage of these teams that are not great. But they're doing that right now, so props to them.